I never thought I'd get to say this, but good morning from Universal Studios, Japan. First time here, just got here early in the morning. We're gonna explore the park and check it out. Looking back at the entrance, there's the globe, and you can see the crowds for park opening. A lot of people as they all rush in. And here we are. This is the facade. You have the Hollywood Dream going right above the entrance. It's interesting walking down the main entrance, especially seeing this covering overhead. Quite fascinating. It looks like we can continue straight back to New York or go to the right, and it looks like there's a carbon copy of the Hollywood area. This is so strange to me. Clearly Universal Japan, but then you pan over and now it's like I can't tell if I'm in Florida or not. We've got the same exact layout. Over there is where you would have Terminator or Born Stuntacular now. What's fascinating about Hollywood Dream is it has two versions. You have the regular coaster and then you have a backwards version just facing the opposite way, which sounds really awesome. It's kind of funny, I was just thinking to myself, I'd expect to see a Mel's on the left up here. Sure enough, there's a Mel's Diner. Where the horror makeup show is, they have a Monsters Rock and Roll show. Nice to see they're sticking to the theme of horror. But you'll notice the Hollywood Dream goes right into these buildings over here. This is the most bizarre view I've seen so far of something that seems so similar, but different. Here's your Mel's. Looks just like the one in Orlando. Here's a look at the park map and some of the attractions they have. We essentially walked in, went right, and we're here by the lake. Panning around the lake, what's most bizarre to me is this bridge that's outside of the park. Kind of strange. And you'll see the Flying Dinosaur, which is the longest hanging coaster in the world. Based on what I've seen on the website, this seems kind of like a best of Universal Park, because you have Spider-Man from Islands of Adventure here. You have Hogsmeade here. They even have Jaws still, which is fantastic. This really feels like Bizarro World because Universal Hollywood and Universal Orlando feel very different. The only things that are the same, Transformers the ride and Hogsmeade. That's the only things that are exactly the same. But here, some of these areas are the same. Really strange to see. How cool is this? Unfortunately, T2 is closed. It just closed last year. So did Backdraft, which they still had going here. While we're in this area, let's go ahead and check out Revenge of the Mummy. Oh wait, it's Spider-Man here. So strange. But while we're here, might as well go check out The Amazing Adventures of Spider-Man. Looks like it's only 25 minutes. I didn't even think about it, but since the pre-show video's in Japanese, I'm sure the ride will be. Looping back around the entrance section, you can see the express line over there. They have the red photo room here as well. I must say, the line is moving pretty quickly. Don't know when it ends though. They even have the model scoop exiting out into the Spider-Man shop, which is partially where the tribute store would kind of be in Orlando. It's just weird to exit Spider-Man into this. Alright, that Spider-Man ride was essentially the same thing as the one in Orlando over at Islands of Adventure, except it's in Japanese. I'm going to be comparing a lot of things between here and the ones in Florida because I grew up with that park. I'll try to not do it too much because I plan on making a separate video pointing out differences here. Continuing along, you'll see Jurassic Park in the distance, but I kind of want to check the back alley. And they do have Spider-Man back here. It doesn't seem like you can actually walk through it all because there's a building right here, because the layout is a little bit different what you'll see in Florida. To the right of the Ghirardelli building, you can see Backdraft, which unfortunately is closed at the moment. But even more sad is the Despicable Me area, and you can tell by the building, that used to be Back to the Future, the ride, here in Japan. Richter's Burger Co. is a happiness cafe. It's funny though to see the coaster Flying Dinosaur over Lombard Landing. Using this area for seating is still better than having Fast and Furious Supercharged. Looking at the map again, we basically walked all around the Hollywood and New York area. We're up here, about to go to the Jurassic Park section. Then we'll probably check out Jaws, got WaterWorld, and Harry Potter. Not sure what Detective Conan is, but sometimes they'll do special anime things here in the park. I know they had Evangelion, One Piece, and Attack on Titan at one point. They have a wait time station, which is in English and Japanese, in case you don't have the app. But you'll see Hollywood Dream is at a 140-minute wait for both versions, so clearly the most popular ride here. Not only is the Flying Dinosaur the world's longest hanging coaster, but it also has the tallest initial drop, which sounds about right. It looks really high. And just like that, we're in Jurassic Park. the entrance to the flying dinosaur on the left. Something I forgot to mention with Spider-Man, they fill every single seat. They don't do the distancing, which is great because they have single rider in this park. There's even wait times for single riders, but that one's not on right now, so I don't know if they're actively doing it. They also have Jurassic Park, the ride, clocking in at a 25-minute wait. I'll wait for it to get a little warm. I like the detail they put into the vending machine over here. Speaking of vending machines, Japan is doing it right again because anytime I wanted my own sweet green tea, the only place to get it was in a really long Starbucks line at a theme park. And then when I got it, it would have a lid, so I couldn't take it on rides. But in Japan, you can just walk to any vending machine, green tea, super easy to get. You'll see, here's a nice viewpoint of the whole park. Be interesting to see at night. You can get ice cream and funnel cakes here. I really like this though. That is a great sign. Fossil fuels. This Jurassic Outfitters store is huge. Look at the detail in here. I like the lamps in the corner. They have an animatronic raptor. You see it move around every once in a while. Oh, that's pretty cool. What's interesting about this Jurassic Park river adventure, other than this awesome waterfall, is the drop is on the opposite side of the building. Normally you go up on the right side and drop on the left. When it comes to the flying coasters, that part always feels so crazy, being on the inside of the loop. It's kind of funny, they have a Discovery restaurant, but that's closed at the moment. Right across from it, there's the Lost World restaurant. The Lost World restaurant is also closed as well, but I just took a look at the time and it's like 10:30, so maybe they don't open till 11. Oh, there you go, hours of operation. It's baby Triceratops. And there's the mama. That thing is huge. I feel like that's bigger than the one in Hollywood. I didn't even mention Super Nintendo World. It's over to the right of WaterWorld. It looks like right now they're letting you in with timed entry tickets. The grand opening is tomorrow, but Universal likes to do soft openings for things. Super Nintendo World is doing technical rehearsals right now. WaterWorld's next show is at 1 p.m. Probably going to try to catch that. Amity Island welcomes you. It's so cool to see this area again. Amity Landing restaurant looks pretty good. Kind of funny though that you look at their sign out front and it's all different types of chicken. You think it'd be seafood. I'm sure they have something. This looks like shrimp. They actually have a display case outside showing you what they have. So there is a shrimp cutlet sandwich and a fried shrimp sandwich. Jaws was one of those rides that after a while we would just kind of pass by and not even bother going on. But now that it's been gone for so long, I really am excited to get the ride. What's interesting is they use this little boatyard here for the queue of Jaws. I couldn't imagine waiting that long. It goes all the way back here. There's Jaws. I feel like this one's bigger than the one in Orlando. Let's check it out. Here we are at Jaws. Now it actually says there's a 45-minute wait. But if you look over here, singles not in use. So maybe they're just not doing single riders now. But this park does offer them. I'm gonna do Jaws later because I wanted to see what the Mario standby line ticket was. Very, very well done. It's a queue you just walk through. They give you a pamphlet in various different languages with the instructions on how the process works. All you do is you take your park pass, so I got my annual pass here. I went up there and you scan it in the machine, you pick a desired time you would like to go to the Mario Land area, and if somebody doesn't show up, they do a lottery system. So you can check on the app and see if you got your time. It's not guaranteed, but I like that it's done as a lottery, so it doesn't cause these crazy queues of people just waiting for nothing. I did get a Universal annual pass, and they have 3 tiers. I went for the silver one because it has not too many blackout dates, but you do have to register it once you get in the park, so I'm gonna go do that now. Back towards the entrance, I'm noticing the first Back to the Future thing in the park is this stained glass right here. Might be a little difficult to see. All right, just finished with the annual pass center. You basically go to a computer and fill in the information. Just a heads up, you need to know Japanese to do this. Everything, there's no English option, it's all in kanji. So I was able to get through most of it myself, and then I had to speak with Japanese with the person there to help figure out what the rest of it was. Then again, most people aren't going to be getting annual passes unless they live in Japan, I would imagine. So just be mindful of that. You're going to have to know some Japanese, or maybe even have one of those translation apps to help you get through the process. We still have not been to the Harry Potter section, and the music here is super loud. Got Woody Woodpecker out in a wild costume. Here goes the backdrop version of Hollywood Dream. That looks so fun. Taking a right after the Universal Monsters show, there's like a huge Sesame Street, Hello Kitty, and Peanuts area all kind of thrown together. Time to get some food, either at Amity or probably Jurassic Park, but I almost totally forgot there's Harry Potter. Haven't even been in there yet. Here's a look inside the Amity restaurant. Gonna get a quick bite to eat. I do like all the special menu items they have, especially that cake. Found a spot outside. I got the shrimp cutlet sandwich, which is basically like ground up shrimp fried. Looks really good actually. And I love the little container they gave it to you. That was a really good cutlet sandwich. Normally it would be 1,700 yen, so about $17 almost, but I got it without the fries and the drink, so it was cheaper. I think this is the best place to get a good view of the whole park. Still, so strange to see that bridge there in the background. Jurassic Park. And in Amity, they still have the boardwalk games. Baskin-Robbins sounds pretty great right now. And they have souvenir buckets. We're about to take the forest path back to Hogsmeade, but there's this huge stone area. I actually really like how you have to walk through this long forest to get to Hogsmeade. It really helps set up the theme for Harry Potter. Once we finally make it to the end of the forest though, what do you know? The third version of the exact same place. Kind of crazy. I don't know if I'm in Florida, California, or Japan at this point. I'm really gonna try to not point out differences because I want to do that in a different video, but I just can't help but notice how empty this area is. There's no massive queues of people waiting to get into Hagrid's. Something I'm noticing, to kind of stick to the theming, outside there's nothing in Japanese. This is quite clever. They have a cart over here. Today's Quidditch match, and it's different churros, but they sell right over here. I'm not the biggest churro fan, but this is a unique time to try Ravenclaw churros. There are also Hogwarts meat pies. Getting one of these too if there's still any left. Here's a Ravenclaw churro. Looks awesome. And a Hogwarts meat pie, whatever that is. This thing is actually really good because it doesn't taste like a churro. It tastes like a blueberry cake donut with frosting. And the meat pie was all right. It was basically like a shepherd's pie and like a little bun. And here is Hogwarts Castle. But what's really interesting is to the left, the gateway that would normally go to another land is actually just a little walkway out to the water. So thematically speaking, this one's kind of the best. You don't really break immersion at all once you get into Hogsmeade, other than Mario Land that you can see sticking out the top. Getting in line for the Forbidden Journey, it's actually kind of funny because every team member here has been loving the mask and Back to the Future shirt. Exiting the ride into the shop, they have the special chocolates and cookies. They've got some interesting shirts in here that I haven't seen before. Maybe they're just for here, maybe not. And with Harry Potter, it's the Japanese version of the same ride, but it's like the one in Universal Hollywood because the Dementor scene at the ending is a little bit different than the one in Orlando. Got the frog choir out. Taking a look back at Hogsmeade from this unique perspective point out on the water and the castle itself. Kind of weird though, ground level is below the water line with this little walkway out here. I almost missed the car here around the corner as you leave Hogsmeade. Now we'll go back to the park. This path feels more like walking into Galaxy's Edge than Harry Potter. Super Nintendo World should be opening in an hour and a half. See if we win that lucky lottery, but for now, we're gonna go check out WaterWorld. They really have quite the huge queue here as you approach the show. That is a clever use of drums. I don't know how comfortable it would be, but there's so much to see here before even stepping in for the show. Looks like Universal Hollywood, except you can see Mario and the top of Hogwarts Castle in the background. Got it. One second! fantastic show and very similar to the one in Hollywood, except you don't really get as wet, even sitting in the splash zones. They don't intentionally come hit you with the jet ski when they turn around. All right, and with WaterWorld, I'm going to end this video here because this is going to be a really long first day here at Universal. So keep an eye out for part 2 if you want to see the rest of today. So that is going to do it. Thank you all for watching. The caravan is moving on.